Hi, everyone. My name is Mahboob. I am the co-founder of MBD Financials. And at MBD Financials, who we are is we are building a decentralized, photorealistic metaverse business district. Some of the things that I'm going to be speaking in regards to is the adoption and the current state of Web3 solutions and how organizations, businesses from various industries are utilizing the technology to transition and create new revenue, whether it's new revenue models or engagement with their current user base or their consumers as we transition into the space. Let me go ahead. Perfect. So the current state of Web3 adoption, we're still at a very early stage in regards to where we see major changes kind of taking place as individuals kind of talk about decentralization of Web3 and utilizing blockchain technology, distributed technology, whether it's cryptocurrency, whether it's NFTs, or whether it's just blockchain in itself. So what does it look like and where are we currently at this stage? Mass adoption isn't going to happen unless we really simplify processes in regards to where we are. So within the Web3 space, majority of the solutions that are being utilized are within NFTs as well as DApps, what we call our decentralized applications. So from financial solutions on how we transfer money or how we really offer banking solutions. There's been major movements and growth within that sector, as well as looking at revenue models of current commerce industry, as you might have seen what loyalty model Starbucks and Sammy kind of went over a lot of it. So it's a great conversation to follow, as well as Nike and Tiffany & Co. utilizing NFTs for direct engagement, as well as creating real world assets and values. So the growing interest and progress in this space is also quite increasing. Blockchain platforms like Ethereum have become the foundation of building decentralized application, and it's utilizing smart contracts, which provides transparency within a user base as well as a creator in itself. Of course, the rise of DeFi space, decentralized finance, it's been a notable use case within the Web3 space. Lending, offering services such as lending, borrowing, yield farming, of course, without intermediaries. NFTs is an area that I quite focus on. At MBD Financials, what we're building is a platform, all-in-one platform that provides the simplicity and accessibility as well as autonomy of solutions in a very fragmented Web3 space. Web3 can be very intimidating, and if we really would like to reach mass adoption, I think simplicity and a transition to almost a Web 2.5 is quite necessary. So we focus on organizations from B2B as 2C solutions on how current organizations can really create that unique value proposition for their, whether it's commerce, if it's in commerce, their consumers, and bridge the gap between that digital experience as well as real world experiences. NFTs have witnessed significant mainstream exposure through high-profile sales, and of course, celebrity endorsements, collaboration with established brands as well. So it's bridging technology and organizations, actual physical organizations, merging them together to provide that unique experience for the end user. Well, how do we accelerate NFT as well as Web3 adoption? The very first and foremost, education and awareness, of course, increasing the understanding of what Web3 technology and its applications are. Education won't do it alone. So I think from a developer's perspective, what we as builders, what we really need to focus on in order to achieve that adoption is how do we simplify the end user's experience? how do we allow and show the value proposition behind, not just for organizations looking to transition into the space, but at the same time, the end user who is going to experience the new transitioning and the new added utilities. Well, how does it add value in their everyday life? We've seen similar transitions as whether you look at financial industry as we transitioned from actual cash pay to utilizing credit cards for financial solutions. Well, how did that mass adoption happen? And then as we assess even from actual digital cards to digital payment systems through mobile apps, various things such as that. Well, how did that transition happen? So it's providing that value proposition on how we're going to add specifically time to their everyday use, as well as how do we simplify that process to create that additional engagement with whether it's a product or a solution in itself. Well, scalability and performance, it's addressing the scalability challenges of blockchain technology as well as networks. It's very important to implement layer 2 scaling solutions and interoperability as we enhance performance for larger transaction volumes. Well, what does that really mean? So it's being able to provide that transparency from one end holder or user to the other. And what really sets us NFTs apart, it provides a way for individuals to build, whether you're an entrepreneur and in the art industry, or whether you're utilizing it within your organization and a business to create the community-based engagement. It provides added ways to build in revenue models, as well as that direct communication with your end user, your community. Well, accelerating NFT, other parts of it, of course, it's the regulatory clarity. Regulations have is currently, especially within the United States, playing a key role in regards to how the frameworks will work and whether it's favorable regulatory frameworks. So establishing that will be one of the core foundational bases of that mass adoption to happen. And of course, a balance in regulations to protect not just users, but it's also to encourage innovation for technology organizations. Integration with existing systems, that's quite important. Some of the challenges that we see, or as speaking to Web2 organizations, when we look at transitioning into the Web3 space, some of the concerns are, well, what about all of the other applications that are being currently used? Or how are we really going to achieve that ROI behind this investment? Well, it's really important to identify some of the current solutions that are being utilized in Web2, and how can we really bring that together into one platform? That's something that I'm personally, within our project that we focus on, we look at, well, if an organization in a fragmented space in Web3, and I may say fragmented quite often, but it is very important to kind of note, especially for an individual that is new into the space, that there's a vast amount of technology as well as solutions that are out there. Well, how do I really hone in on exactly what we need? So kind of streamlining that and bringing it together within the space is quite important, and we see that as crucial in order to achieve that mass adoption. Showcasing real world value. Digital goods and products and services in a digital form is quite becoming quite crucial, as well as you'll hear it quite a bit, especially with projects that are working with the commerce sector. Digital, it requires a digital as well as a physical product. So NFTs, creating digital twins of actual products, services, solution, tokenizing real world assets. This specific transition will help us achieve that mass adoption. And of course, from a builder's perspective, it's the developers' tools and infrastructures. providing the robust developer tools, documentations, and of course that support, it lowers the barrier to entry as well, not just for users, but it's also for individuals, technologists that are looking to get into the space. A key piece of Web3 adoption from a founder's perspective, as well as a user, is collaborations and partnerships. I think this space really excels in regards to collaborations and partnering because of how early we are within this space. So being able to integrate with other solutions and being able to create unique even business models from it are things that I'm currently seeing in the space, and it's happening more and more, where we're able to integrate two solutions to create this one unique solution that solves quite a bit of problems at the same time. Partnering with established companies and organizations, it's that entire transitioning and transitioning and showing the value proposition for Web2 industries, whether it's a organization in the commerce space, to show the value in regards to that transitioning. And of course, cross-industry Web3 adoption within the sector. Some of the use cases, many have probably kind of gone over, but these are some of the high-profile use cases I wanted to kind of highlight in various sectors. Art and entertainment, of course, the first in Bepples, the first 5,000 days, the artwork sold as an NFT for 69 million. And that's really bringing NFTs to the mainstream in the art world. NBA Top Shot, it's a blockchain-based platform offering NFT collectibles. They've gained popularity with millions of users buying and trading basketball moments. So if you look at it as far as collectibles, where it started and how it's transitioning even to being able to monetize and trade even on the moments, it's transitioned quite far in regards to some of the ways we really interact with certain things within the industry. And of course, gaming and virtual worlds. Some of the things that as a metaverse builder, initially what we saw with Decentraland as well as Sandbox, Axie Infinity started with gamification, so blockchain-based game where players can actually breed, trade, battle digital creatures called Axies, and they've gained a significant amount of users. But you take that gamification and how it was initially utilized in regards to the social aspect and being able to have digital assets that were more utilized within a gaming sector. Roblox, even though they've, Roblox or PlayStation games, they're technically still considered metaverse. Any world where individuals from various places can really get together and be able to connect or and be in the same space that's live and utilize any of the digital assets within that ecosystem. So when you look at that and where we've kind of come, some of the transition and the changes is being able to have that digital asset be connected to something in the physical world. And that's how we really bridge the gap between the virtual and the real world. Creating a lot of those use cases where you're able to take a real estate asset and not only utilize it in the Web3 space, but have that digital twin in the actual real world, creates that value proposition in itself. And of course, music and entertainment, we've kind of seen quite a few in regards to how the creator is able to really receive more direct benefits from their art and their creation in itself. Sports and collectibles, NFL have utilized it. They started partnering with digital collectible platforms, officially licensed NFT player cards. And of course, Formula One, they launch a blockchain game based as well. The Web3 ecosystem, of course, many that we kind of already know about, decentralized marketplaces, art, collectibles, gaming. intellectual property and licensing, identity and authentication. It's also known as KYC. Of course, finance and DeFi. Where we see a shift in the ecosystem, and one of the areas that I highly believe will lead the way is the commerce space. And we kind of see that whether it's a loyalty structure model being implemented, for example, Starbucks, or whether it's actual NFTs that gives you exclusive access. For example, Louis Vuitton just launched their new NFTs. Whether you're able to really create that unique engagement with your end consumer. Where we see that transition between the virtual world and the real world is everything won't move fully to the virtual space. So initially you start creating these digital twins of NFTs. Well, what is the value that it brings? It creates that direct engagement, whether for a commerce industry, being able to have tokenized assets, being able to vote on the next launch of the fall collection, and that direct engagement with their consumer is where the value proposition comes in. And then if you really take a look at it, well, how do we go from there into a more immersive experience? Well, utilizing AR technology as well as VR to drive consumers back into the physical locations. So that also adds that additional value proposition. Organizations, for example, are those, if they're utilizing it more for engagement and bringing consumers into that space, what you'll see is individuals will take that product and they can create events at locations where it drives the consumers back in, earning, learn to earn, or play to earn areas where you're able to, where consumers can collect points and then redeem it at the actual locations. NFTs will also utilize DAOs for businesses. They can offer a powerful way for businesses to really increase influencer activities and build communities. Influencer marketing, building community, and community is quite key, because whether you look at reviews or how an individual user interacts with your product is quite important, and that really will continue to help build a better Web3 infrastructure. And of course, loyalty, rewards, branding, and a sense of ownership. So that is a little bit in regards to what I kind of also want to talk about are a few challenges as well. So some of the challenges that we see is within adoption is the simplicity and the fragmentation. So one of the core things that I think we as Web3 builders need to focus on is, well, how do we really achieve that? It's by providing accessibility and utilizing AI solutions to create that autonomy where we will be able to achieve that mass adoption. I thank you so much for allowing me to speak. I quite focus on metaverse as well as the Web3 space utilizing NFTs for organizations. If you'd like to learn more or just share your thoughts, you can connect with me on Twitter as well as LinkedIn. And I look forward to hearing from you guys.